improvisation, you know, it's also a challenge to be able to get in touch with your creative side in that way when you're recording, because there's no audience really. You're forced to deal with yourself, you know. It's like performing in front of a huge mirror, you know, because you really have to, you know, go inside to be able to get it, you know. You have to get that live feeling like you're actually, you know, in the performance element. It's a little bit difficult when you don't have an audience to react from or with, because you're not getting any feedback or response. So it becomes a challenge, you know. When that red light goes on, you have to really find something. A lot of people can't deal with it. Sometimes they freak out when the red light comes on. I had my moments, you know, when I first started recording, you know, when they say, all right, rolling, I'd be like, hey, can we do it again? Let's do it again. But then I learned later, you know, a lot of times the first and second take is the one, even with the mistakes. I used to make guys mad. When I was doing the first RH Factor record, they would get mad at me because everybody wanted to fix everything. Can I do it again? Can I fix it? Like, no, you got to live with it. Well, I mean, I learned from people like Monk, and I mean, they're examples. They're things I read, of course. I never met them. I'm too young. But Monk and Duke Ellington, you know, that first take or the second take is usually the one, because after that, then you start to sort of imitate yourself. I guess I could say that every individual has inside like a little bell that rings. Like you have your own kind of music that you like. There's something that rings your bell. You know, for some people it's jazz. Some people it might be hip hop. Some people it might be techno. It might be country and western. Whatever it is. Sometimes everyone has their thing that they like. And music is a special thing because it makes you feel things like, you know, I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's happened to me. When I hear a song from like when I was maybe 12 years old, I can almost smell the same smells that I smelled then when I hear the song. Well, music's powerful, man. It gets into your body, huh?
David Sanborn a long time ago. I actually had braces on my teeth when I met David Sanborn. I was 18 or 19 years old, and we met. I was making a name for myself as a young musician in New York, as a young bass player, and David's producer called me to play on a song for David Sanborn, and I came in and I played on one song. The song was called Carly's Song, I believe, and I played on the song for him, and I met him. He was very nice, and a couple of months later, we both ended up in the house band of a television show called Saturday Night Live, and we were in the house band together and got to know each other, and eventually David asked me to come on the road when we weren't working on the show. We'd go do gigs, David Sanborn gigs, and we got to be tight. I would play in my music, I was always writing music. I played my music, and he eventually began to record my music on his records, and eventually I began to produce his records, and boy, that was like 25 years ago, something like that. So got a long history, made a lot of albums together. His accent is St. Louis, definitely. He has that kind of that blues sound. His roots are really in an old school R&B. He heard the Ray Charles band when he was very young, and that really influenced him. There was a saxophone player in Ray Charles' band named Hank Crawford, and that was Dave's guy. That was the guy that David really idolized when he was coming up. What keeps surprising me with David Sanborn is that he never gets comfortable. He never, you meet so many artists who they have their sound and they have their success, and they just sit back and just say, yeah, I'm cool, And David's not one of those guys. David's a guy who's always pushing, always questioning, always trying to figure out what he can do next and how he can improve, how he can change. He actually pisses some people off because he keeps changing. They say, look, I want to hear the way you played sax 15 years ago. And he's like, dude, that was 15 years ago. This is the way I play now. And that's what a true artist does, They really keep trying to grow.
When I was growing up in St. Louis, there was a basketball team there called the St. Louis Hawks. After the games, there'd be one year they had a series of concerts, and so Count Basie's band would play after one game, and Duke Ellington's band would play after one game, and Stan Kenton, and one of these shows was Ray Charles' band. It was this big, field house, like a big basketball arena. We were all the way at the other end from where the band was, and Ray's band came on and did about a half an hour before Ray came out. And at one point, Hank Crawford was playing a alto solo with the band, and all the mics went out. I was at the other end of the arena. I could still hear Hank really clear. I could hear what he was playing. And I thought, yeah, I want to be able to do that. That's a good job. If that's the job, I want that job. And this was right about the time that I was sick as a kid, so the doctors recommended to my parents that I play a wind instrument for therapy. So I was 11 years old, so I said, well, I want to play the saxophone. So that was kind of it for me. That was the eureka moment, if there was one, that made me want to play the saxophone. I'm a product of my environment and the kind of musical environment I came up in. So, I was influenced by, the blues and the more blues-based players. Hank Crawford was probably the strongest influence on me early on, just the way he phrased and just in a general kind of philosophical way, just the way he approached music, using a lot of space, because Hank could just play one note and just let it hang there and let the space work for him, you know what I mean? And although I didn't maybe think about it like that at the time, I think that really had a profound influence on me. And guys that really understood the use of space, like Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins, guys that used the silence as well as the note. I think that probably is the core of wherever I'm coming from.